Bortle here with the Nick Petzold. My goodness, welcome back to the channel, Nick. How are you?
Good, good. It's good to be back.
Yo, please, Nick, tell the world what did you do and what deck did you use?
I top forward the remote duel extravaganza and I played Marincess.
Marincess.
Also, yeah.
My goodness, this is post Dune, everyone, and Marincess is up here, top four of one of the first premier Konami event.
Mhm.
Crazy. Yo, so would you like to let us know, like, overall, what were your matchups for this event?
Yeah, so my first round, my opponent didn't show, so I got a bye. It was very nice. I was able to sleep like an extra 30, 40 minutes. Second round was a written feature. I played against Kashira. Third round was Purely. Fourth round was Despia. Rounds 5 and 6, my two losses were both the Purely, and then my last round was against Makonko. And then top 16 I played against Purely. Top 8 against I played against Purely, and top 4 I lost to Labyrinth in time.
My goodness, that sounds like five Purleys and the loss to Labyrinth. Yikes.
Yeah, big yikes. Yeah.
All right, well, before we jump into the deck profile, any shoutouts, man?
Yeah. Shout outs to our Discord server. We have a friend group that's called the Goo Crew. Shout outs to Jacob, Noah, Adam, uh, Garrett, and Randy. And also shout outs to Parker. He's one of the guys at our locals. He has a YouTube channel. It's called Aurora Yu-Gi-Oh! I said I'd shout him out. He lent me a lot of the cards. And also shout outs to Bortle for doing the profile, obviously.
God, yes. And without
Yeah.
further ado, please take it away with your top four deck profile.
All right. So a lot of people don't know what Marincess cards do. Like none of my opponents knew what they did. So I'm gonna do a basic explanation for each. So the best Marincess normal summon in the deck is Marincess Blue Tang. On summon, she Foolish Burials a Marincess monster from deck, and when she's used as link material, you get to excavate 3 cards and add a Marincess card from among them to your hand. So she's by far the best starter. You always want to see her. Um, then we play 3 Marincess Spring Girl. Spring Girl is probably your best extender because she doesn't require a Marincess monster to be on the board like all the other ones do. She just requires you to banish a Marincess card from graveyard to summon her. She's also very useful for making Bahamut Shark plays to make Toad because she's a level 4. And she also is really good when you go into time because she has another effect where she's sent to the graveyard for a link sent to the graveyard as link material. You can mill cards equal to the number of Marincess monsters you control, and then for each Marincess card sent this way, they take 200. So if you ever go into time, that's like a way to win.
Ooh.
And then you also play 3 Pascalis. Pascalis on normal or special, she can special summon a Marincess from hand. So she's probably your second best starter behind besides Blue Tang. And she also is really good for follow up because she can banish herself from graveyard to get a Marincess spell or trap card back from graveyard, except for the turn she was sent there. So I use her a lot on follow up to get back my Marincess dive and be able to make OTK pushes on turn 2. And then the last 3 of we play is 3 Marincess Seahorse. Seahorse summons herself to a zone a Marincess monster points to. Um, her by herself is almost full combo, but not quite. But she's also really good to just open by herself, or in combination with any of the Marincess monsters. And then for the not so good Marincess monsters, we play the 2 Marincess Mandarin. She can summon herself to his own name Marincess monster points to if you have 2 or more Marincess monsters with different names. Um, but she's not really that good to draw on her own. She doesn't really do that much, but you just kind of need her for the names. Then you play 1 Basilima. Basilima is really only there for trap decks. She can banish herself from graveyard to prevent your monsters from being destroyed by card effects. But that's really all she is. She's just another level 4 name. And the last one we play is the 1 Sleepy Maiden. She's probably the worst Marincess because she's the only one that if you draw her by herself, you can't play because she's a level 5. She's also an extender because you can target a Marincess card you control and she'll summon herself to your monster zone. And the real reason we play her is because so for the Marincess new Link 4, to negate a spell or trap, you have to have a Marincess Link monster equipped to her. And we play Pot of Desires in this deck. So sometimes you have to Desires and you banish your field spell. And the field spell is really the only way to equip links to your monsters, except for her. So she's just a second way to like effectively make your Argonaut live. And that's all the Marincess monsters. And for hand traps, I played 3 Nibiru, 3 Droll, 3 impermanents, 3 ash, and 2 Valor. So a total of 14 hand traps. This deck can afford to play a lot of them because most of the deck is 1-card combos or 2-card combos. And all these hand traps are really good. Droll and Ash were by far the best, especially Droll. Nibiru was not very good. I probably would cut it, honestly. Or might side it just because like a Kashira decks will end on 4 summons and purely they just never really play into Nibiru at all. And then for the spell cards, for the Marincess spells, you play 2 Marincess Dive. Marincess Dive is a monster reborn for a non-link water monster or a non-link Marincess monster. But if you have the field spell in play, the Battle Ocean, this one can summon from deck instead.
Ooh.
So yeah, so it's not actually bad to open either one of these because the Marincess Link 1 will search this one if you open this one, or if you open this one, you can search this one. So it's fine to open either one of them. And the field spells effect is if you exceed or if you link summon to the EMZ, you can equip up to 3 link monsters with different names to the Marincess monster you link summon, and then for each one, your monster will get plus 600. So effectively, it's like a base plus 2,000 to all of your link monsters in the EMZ.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, and then the rest of the spells, 2 desires, pretty much play duplicates of everything, and a lot of the times, if you have a decent hand, you can just combo, and then after you combo, then you desires to just draw into hand traps and interaction. And then 2 talents. I was playing 3 at first, but I cut the 3rd one for this next card I'm about to show you because I was clogging on 2 a little bit. But talents is really good in this deck. You don't really use the steal effect a lot, but since Droll is super prevalent in this format, and Droll doesn't really hurt this deck at all. Like talents is super punishing when people droll you, and sometimes like you use the talents to draw, like if you have a really awkward hand and they just like waste a hand trap. But talents is just super effective right now in this format, and especially in this deck. And the last 2 spells I played are 2 Book of Moon. These are the last additions to the deck. Book of Moon was crazy the entire event. My second round I got de-shifted by Kashira. So I just set book and pass. He summoned Unicorn. I booked it, and he passed. Against a purely player, he activated the rank up trap. I chained Book of Moon so the trap wouldn't resolve. It was an incredible card all weekend. I probably would bump it up to 3, honestly. And then the last 2 traps you play are 2 Marincess Wave. Wave is absolutely crazy. If you have a Marincess Link monster on the field, you can target a monster your opponent controls, negates effects to the end of the turn. So it's an imperm. But if you have a Link 3 or higher Marincess monster, you can activate this from your hand, and as well as it will make your Marincess monsters unaffected by your opponent's card effects till the end of the turn.
Oh,
So
that's
you activate
pretty nice.
imperm from hand, and then your guy's unaffected by card effects till the end of the turn.
That's crazy. Yo, what's the main deck count?
It's 41 cards.
41. Let's go.
And then for the extra deck, play 2 Marincess Blue Slug. On summon, she gets a Marincess monster from grave to hand. Really good playing through Droll. The second best one would be Sea Angel. She searches a Marincess spell card. These are the ones you always go to on turn 1. Then you play 2 Marincess Coral Anemone. She's a once per turn revive a water monster with 1,500 or less to a zone she points to. And if she's sent from field to graveyard, period, you can target a Marincess card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So whether that's she's linked off as a link material, whether she's equipped to a monster and then that monster is sent from field to grave, she'll get something back. So she's just really good for getting follow-up. So she's your best link 2. And then the other link 2s you play the 1 Splash Mage. It's basically a 3rd copy of this, but it's just, in case this gets impermed, you're still able to link climb. And then I also play the 1 Area, the Water Charmer. This is the 15th slot in the extra deck, so this could really be anything else, but it's just good to have in case you get nibbed. You have like a nib token that's maybe not so big, and you need to use it to make this, and then use this plus like another link 2 to make a link 4, because all your link 4s require water monsters only, so this just lets you like turn that into a water monster effectively. And then you also play 1 Marincess Coral Triangle. So Coral Triangles, I believe, is one of the newer ones. So her effect is you can discard a water monster to search a Marincess trap card. So you typically go into her on your first turn, and she also has the other effect of If your opponent is the only player with a monster, you can banish her from your graveyard to target link monsters in your graveyard whose total rating equal up to 3, and then summon them to the field. So usually on turn 1, you'll like use her search the trap card, and then you'll link off, and then you'll make one of the link 4s, such as Great Bubble Reef. And then let's say they kill your link 4, then on your follow up, you can just go start of main, banish the coral triangle, and then just revive 2 guys from graveyard effectively. So it's just another really insane follow up card to have. Then the other link 3 play is one Marincess Marbled Rock. She's a once per turn, add a Marincess card from grave to hand, just another way to get back resources. And then for the link 4s, you play Bubble Reef. Great Bubble Reef, during every standby phase, she can banish a water monster from field or graveyard to draw a card. Every time a monster gets banished, she gets plus 600, and she can discard a water monster to special summon a banished Marincess monster. She's really good for going for OTK pushes. A lot of the times, I'll make her on turn 2 after making the other link 4 on turn 1, and then I'll use this and I'll banish it like with Spring Girl's effect, and then I'll use her effect to ban it or bring back the one that I just banished. So she's really good for just making OTK pushes. And then the last Marincess link monster we play is the one Marincess Aqua Argonaut. So her effect is while she's in EMZ, your opponent cannot declare attacks on monsters except for her. She's also a spell and trap negate during your opponent's turn by special summoning a Marincess monster that's equipped to her. So she's basically your best turn 1 interruption for Marincess. And the last link we play is the one World Sea Dragon Zeolannis. This is this deck's access code talker because this deck can't play access code because you're always waterlocked. And Zeolannis is super broken in this deck because of the waterlock restriction. So the way Zeolannis is worded, it'll banish all monsters on the field and then special summon as many back as possible. But due to the fact that I'm typically waterlocked, it will only summon water monsters with its effect. So you can just banish your opponent's entire board and it won't come back to their field.
My goodness.
Yeah. And the last 2 we play are the one Bahamut Shark and the one Totally Awesome. Typically with decent hands, you can make Toad and then make the link 4 afterwards. So you just end on Toad plus Aqua Argonaut. And when Argonaut's in the EMZ, your opponent can't attack the Toad without attacking her first. And typically she'll be 4,300 boosted by the field spell.
Sheesh.
Yeah. And then for the side, for the God cards for going first, play 3 anti-spell and 3 D-barrier. These are just FTKs against Purely. D-barriers FTK against Kashira. Just honestly, these cards should probably be banned, but every time I saw them, I basically won. And then I played 3 Cosmic Cyclone, 1 Harpies, and 2 Evenly for my back row removal. Yeah, nothing really to say here. It's pretty standard back row removal. Cosmic's just really good against the runic decks for hitting Fountain, and Evenly's just good against like combo decks, Sword Soul, Dragon Link, especially really good against Dragon Link. And then Harpies is Harpies. And the last 3 player 3 Gamma Steel. Gamma Steel is really, really, really good in this deck because of the fact that first off, if you Gamma Seal their stuff and you make that Zeolannis that I was telling you about and you banish all monsters on the field, Gamma Seal will come back to your side, so it helps you OTK.
Oh, that's just insane.
Yeah, and Aqua Argonaut, the other link 4, she has another effect of you can target a water monster you control and 1 card your opponent controls and bounce them to the hand. So you can Kaiju your opponent's monster and then use Argonaut to bounce a water and your Kaiju back to your hand, and then either Kaiju again or just hold it for follow-up. Yeah, you basically have to play the Gamma Seals for the Purely matchup because a 5 material Noir is unkillable for this deck. And that's the reason I lost those 2 in Swiss. I just didn't draw Gamma Seal in game 3 out the Noir. But yeah, so that's the deck.
Sweet, Nick. Well, hey, man, congrats on getting top 4, one of the first Konami premier events. Well, especially, in the remote duel format. My goodness.
Yeah.
And hope to see you back on the channel soon, man.
All right. Appreciate it, Bortle. Thank you for having me on here.
God, yes. Until next time, everyone. Bortle out.